Morning, A group. So, yeah, you're A group. So B group just told me they just destroyed me on these videos, and they told me that I talk like a robot whenever I'm here. But I don't think that's a robot voice. I think that's my professional teacher voice. Because like I have different voices. Pardon? It doesn't matter if I'm a Greene County teacher. I still need to speak professionally. I have like business voice whenever I talk to people on the phone. I have kid voice. I have little baby puppy voice. I saw my, I forgot to tell you, yeah. I saw my nephew this weekend, and he's a baby, and guess what I did?
You sniffed his head.
I smelled his head, yes. Oh, he's adorable. He has all of this, like, really, like, his hair is, like, this tall, and it's like, really black hair. He's half Chinese, so, like, he has really, like, dark
Did you
hair.
bury your nose in his hair?
No, I just snuggled him. I snuggled him for, like, the whole afternoon, and then he puked on me. And then whatever, I cleaned it up a little bit. I'm not, you're like 40 years old. I'm not going to sniff your head. You probably smell funny.
She's 40 years old?
Smell weird.
Did you just say she smells?
Yeah. She lost that like new baby smell. So anyway, A group, B group is currently working on their do now. Hopefully you are maybe working on this do now. Other things that they told me while they were telling me what an awful on the line teacher I am. They said that they can't always see all of the screen. I'm sorry that you can't see all the screen. Can't do anything about it. Sorry. It's on you have the PowerPoint. So you have the PowerPoint that you could follow along at home. You could like open up multiple things. You can watch the video on your phone, and then you can look at the PowerPoint on your laptop or your iPad or whatever other device you have. I know you have a laptop. I watched you with it the other day. You. What? You have something the other day. You don't be lying to me. So I told my children when they were little that when they lie to me, that their ears turn red. And I think my daughter has caught on, because last night she told me a lie, and I know she told me a lie. And she goes, "Look, Mom, are my ears red?" And I was like, she knows. So, that's it. Yes, your laptop is there. I know.
I'm pretty sure I already broke mine with how many times I
Okay, so this week, A group, you're going to watch the video, answer the questions that are after. B group, you're here in class. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, we do this again. We lecture and answer questions. Wednesday, we have a fully online day. On that day, you're going to do your homework. You're going to fill in your notes. So as I'm going through here, I might not wait for you to fill in your notes because that'll be your assignment for next Wednesday. Thursday or Friday when you come in, you have your first vocabulary quiz. So when you come in on A group Thursday, B group Friday, I'm going to give you a half sheet of paper, and I'm going to say, number 1, what does co mean? And you're going to tell me together. Okay? And then I'm going to say 2, what does valent mean? And you're going to tell me strength. That is for next Thursday or Friday. There is no word bank. Hey, 78, hat off, please. Thank you. Just while I'm teaching, hat off. Thank you. All right. Do now. Do now. I don't even know. You're just like a whole different person this year.
Why? Because of his hair?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's a whole different person. All right. Tell me how many protons, neutrons, and electrons are found in the element xenon. The atomic number is 54. I'm going to do it on the screen over here. Maybe you can see it. How do I do this? Here we go.
Nick, that's why I was
All right. Xenon. Wait, who else has it? Oh, yeah, you too. Trump 2020, take that off. Thank you. All right. How many protons are in xenon? I'm just not used to seeing his head. I just always see him with a hat and come around.
Yeah, the hat looks
I
better.
can't wait till like when you're 15, you know what like have to do, like where
Yeah, I know. How it makes you bald.
Xenon. How many protons does xenon have? The atomic number is 54.
54.
54.
I guess.
Whoa, I don't know what just happened there. Huh, that's odd. Whatever.
I don't think it's
Yes,
supposed to do that.
we know that because 54 is the atomic number, therefore it has 54 protons.
I absolutely guess.
How many neutrons does it have?
How am I feeling? Wait a minute, I can't do that.
Yeah, I gotta do it too. How do I find it? Let's answer that question
You
first.
subtract.
Yeah, subtract something. I do
Yeah,
subtract.
Don't
But
you
Isn't it like
subtract
subtracting
54?
neutrons?
Shut up, let me talk.
Imagine.
all right. Hey, what do you have to do?
Don't you subtract the protons and the neutrons? Or the electrons and the protons?
No, shut up. You're gonna scare us off the beat.
You're close. Yeah, kind of. You just had it a little backwards. So you're going to take the atomic mass, which is the number of the protons and the neutrons. So you take 131 minus the number of protons, which is 54. So then we have to do some math. Oh,
Jam's saying, or
I can't remember. What's 11 minus 4?
That is so sad.
Okay. What's 12 minus 5?
7.
Good job, babe.
I just said James is something wrong with you.
That's okay.
James, you're gonna get
They
some.
can't hear you.
You're gonna get some.
Good. How many electrons does that have?
What did you just add?
How many electrons does this have?
Come on, Dad. You're the wizard.
Nope,
Yeah, Jess, come on.
not
You can't say
77.
names.
Not 131.
Oh, look.
Would you add them to?
What?
Would you add them together?
54. Good.
Oh,
I said 54 and you shook your head.
I think I was shaking my head at somebody else. I knew you knew it.
Not even.
54. How do I know that? I know that. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong screen. I know that because it's just xenon. If it were xenon plus 2, then we would have a different number of neutrons. If it were xenon minus 2, yelzes, it would have a different number of electrons. I don't know what I said. Okay. Are you going to have to do that on your test? No. So why do I make you do that?
Just
I
so
make
know.
you do that, not just to do that, because we need to understand what isotopes are, and this is where we left off yesterday. So isotopes are atoms that have the same number of protons, but they have different numbers of neutrons. So the atomic mass of xenon is 131. What's I going to say? And we know it has 54 protons and 77 neutrons. There may be other forms of xenon that are going to have maybe 76 neutrons or 79 neutrons or whatever, but that is the isotopes. Sometimes those isotopes are radioactive, and when we say they're radioactive, that means that they decay. So they're not super stable. And generally when things are radioactive, that's what that means. Yes, whoever, one of you had a question, yes.
Did I miss anything in the video yesterday? I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was working.
Yes.
Did I miss anything like really important? Or?
Well, you missed how to do all that if you didn't watch the video. And there was, let's see here. I told you that the Department of Education lady said that you are taking your keystones.
Yeah,
Okay, if you saw that part, so we are still taking keystones.
as of right now, but that may change.
It might change. If there's a new presidential administration, it may change. So we will see. All right, so now we're going to talk about electrons. And electrons are going to orbit. So the protons and the neutrons are found in the nucleus, and then the electrons orbit. What does it make you think of when you hear the word orbit? Circle, good. So someone's making a circle like this.
Kind of hovering.
Kind of hovering around something. Ooh, I like that you said that. Because when we normally think of orbits, we think of what orbits that we're familiar with orbiting?
This one.
The sun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we orbit around the sun, right? And so we stay in this fixed pattern. And what happens if we get knocked out of orbit?
We die.
We die. We either like burn to death because we're too close to the sun, or we freeze to death because we're too far away from the sun. If the moon gets knocked out of orbit, what happens?
It's always the
Yeah, yeah, this one learned early, yes, death. Just, it's always death is the answer. Correct, so probably if it got too close to us, then like all of the oceans would just come pouring into the land and we would all drown in death. And if it were too far away, then I don't know what would happen.
We
would
The
die.
oceans would recede.
It was too far away.
I'd
Pardon?
rather burn
I don't
to
think
death
there's anything
than
wrong with
freeze.
too far away.
I don't know. I'm
How
sure
about
that would like mess up something. Like the animals would go whack-go or something.
No,
Burning
it's
is
just
still
fun
being
to burn
nice,
if you refract
Just
it.
come in.
Yes, yes,
True.
plus if you burn to death, you feel the pain. But if you freeze to death, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you
it's
get numb.
There's an argument happening right now if you burn to death if you feel it, or if you freeze to death if
You
you
feel
feel it.
burns until 3rd degree because that burns the nerves.
Huh.
Yeah, he is right. So maybe you won't feel the pain if you burn to death.
You
I don't
still
know.
feel it, bro.
Oh, yeah,
You
it's
feel
not
it, and that's
For a
the.
I
while.
don't think
Yeah.
it should be thinking about after it hurts, stop, drop, and roll.
Oh gosh. Okay, so atoms, in the atoms, the electrons orbit, but not like a plant orbits. They orbit, oh, what was the thing that you said?
They hover around.
Hover around. Yes, my mouse, stupid mouse. Yeah, they hover around. So a better way to think about the way that the electrons orbit, I'm 100% going to draw them in a circle, and when you were in Mrs. Cox's class, she drew them in a circle, and we're going to keep drawing them in a circle because that's just what we do. But in reality, they kind of orbit like bugs. So say you have a light, and it's summertime, and you see those bugs, and they're just kind of like going around. Do you know what I'm talking about? A
Why
light.
do they like
And they just, pardon?
Why do they like light?
Oh, I'll tell you in 1 second. But that's more how they orbit. Not circle, like have to be in the same spot. They kind of orbit around. Why do they like light? We are going to use some stuff from the last chapter. Why bugs like light. What does light give off?
Heat.
Heat. Can bugs regulate their internal temperature?
No.
No,
No. So what do they have to do?
have to find a heat
Find
source.
a
They have to find a heat source. So they go to the light because of the heat. What are they doing?
Killing
Getting
themselves.
warm.
Getting warm, right? What's that thing called where they're getting warm but they're regulating their internal environment?
Huh?
Isn't that the one weird word I can't remember?
Yes, that one weird word that you can't remember that's always the answer. What's that weird word that you can't remember that's always the answer? Homeostasis! Yes!
Holy.
Homeostasis. Exactly. They are doing homeostasis by going to the light. Good. Oh, electrons, orbitals. Okay, so this is one of those things that's going to be like what we need for right now. My face is itchy. What we need for right now. However, when you get to other areas, like when you go to Mr. Georgie's for chemistry, this is probably going to change. When you go to college and take chemistry, it's going to change again. But for now, the first electron level holds 2 electrons, and all the levels after that hold 8. Okay, for our purposes, that's all we need to know for now. In real life, it doesn't. There's different levels, etc. So let's try to just draw an electron configuration. Oh, I gotta get my textbook. Okay. So I'm gonna pull it out. Let's move this over here so you can see that. It is necessary. I need a rolly cart. Like, I don't know. Does anybody have Mr. Pratt?
Yeah.
No.
He's been like live streaming, and he has like this really great setup. I was looking at his engineering lab the other day, and he like has his camera on a rolly stand. He just like rolls it around to where he wants to go. He's got multiple cameras set up.
Yeah, she's in Walmart.
I need some of that stuff. My computer still has only elementary printers
Plus, you
that are
need-
loaded onto it. I need another
You need
camera.
a PC setup for streaming.
I need a PC set up for streaming.
And you need a gaming setup.
I do. I need.
Honestly, that would help you a lot.
Let's look.
Play Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, my kid loves Minecraft.
Everyone does.
The boy loves
I'm
Minecraft.
surprised you didn't say that they love
So
Fortnite.
They don't know Fortnite yet, but they have learned some of the dances.
Please make sure that they don't love Fortnite. Otherwise, it will
They'll end up like
Why
that.
you use
I don't
the
want
games
them
play Fortnite.
to do the
Everyone
Fortnite.
does
Yeah,
that.
I used to.
Okay,
Okay.
carbon.
Did you? I don't hear you.
Carbon. Let's look at carbon. The atomic number of carbon is 6. So how many protons does it have?
Six.
The mass number is
Six.
12, so it has 6. How many electrons does it have?
0. Or just
6. So, if I were drawing carbon, I'm just going to draw a C. We would know that that's where the protons and the neutrons are located. Have you seen this at home, people? I don't know. Okay. So, On the first orbital, how many electrons go on the first orbital?
2.
Pardon? I didn't hear what you
Four.
said.
More.
No, what'd you say? Whoever said it, I think said the right word. Oakland.
2.
2, yeah, 2.
Two, then four.
I'm gonna draw those X's. Good. And then 4. Oh, that's easy. Do you remember that from Mrs. Cox's class?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the only thing I remember.
That's the only thing. Good. That's the one thing that I need you to remember. So let's look at oxygen. The atomic number of oxygen is 8. I'm gonna draw it down here. So how many protons does it have?
8.
We don't really need to know the number of neutrons. How many electrons does it have?
8.
Okay. I gotta tell you, one of the things I love about teaching is having a chalkboard because I like to use colored chalk, although I'm running out of colored chalk. However, I think I have reached the point of my life that I would really like a whiteboard. I don't know why, but I think I would enjoy a whiteboard because this doesn't erase like it used to, and that drives me nuts. All right, oxygen. That's an O, not just a circle. How many electrons go in the first orbital?
2.
How many go in the second?
4.
8.
Huh.
4.
8 can fit. How many go? So we have 8 total. We've already used 2. How many? 6. Okay.
Can you do another one and can hold like 16?
Pardon?
If you do like another circle, can you like hold like 16?
Yes. So that's what I was saying about the whole, like, it's different in Mrs. Cox's class just because I'm going to show you this today and that's the last time we're ever going to use it. So yes, it can, because there's like the SPDF levels, there's like way more, but for us, this is where we're at. Question, which one's stronger?
The second one,
Why?
it has more.
Because it has more
Strong.
electrons.
More
I don't know.
Someone said because it has more mass. Oxygen is stronger, but not because it has more electrons or because it has more mass, because it has more in its outer shell. So if it has more in its outer shell, that one's going to be a little stronger than the other.
Carbon bonds with pretty much everything too. Remember?
Carbon bonds with pretty much everything. My boyfriend Hank Green has a good video on that we will watch on in chapter 3. Yeah, oh, you didn't watch the video. Yeah, my science boyfriend Hank Green, who does the crash courses. Mrs. Cox also refers to him as her boyfriend.
I'm concerned for you.
You should not be concerned.
I'm concerned.
He's great. He has great videos. He wrote a book over the summer, well, over quarantine. I don't know when he wrote it, but it was published over quarantine. And it's kind of sad because I would like him to write a nonfiction book, but he wrote a fiction book. His brother's John Green. Do you guys know this? Wrote Fault in Our Stars.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
If you don't know who I'm talking about, you didn't watch the video yesterday.
I do
I
know.
told
Because I
you,
showed him.
I was
The
at
only
work.
thing I remember of Fault in Our Stars is the dude that died.
Yeah, I don't watch this sappy.
I did watch your video. I just didn't get to that part. There's a difference.
See, at least you watched your video. I watched like 4 minutes of it and then I.
I'm failing,
This
so I'm
dude, you
saying
know
I
who
didn't
he
watch it.
is. You know that music?
Yeah.
Were you going
Hi,
to
I'm Hank Green. Welcome to Crash Course. This is a YouTube
There he is. Oh, wait.
channel, and on
Wait.
it, we
Yeah.
upload educational videos. My brother John and I started this channel with the goal of helping students and
okay.
teachers with world history and biology. But
That guy,
then
remember it?
we
Hank
grew.
Green?
We brought in new
Ah.
hosts to help us teach and expanded the
Science boyfriend or something.
You what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's literally what she said.
It's exactly what I said. So that is also Mrs. Cox's boyfriend.
Say
Science boyfriend.
gone 3 ways.
So, moving on.
It looks like the dude that plays all the
Compounds. Lord, I hope the camera did not hear that one. Oh, mercy. Compounds, atoms that are in a fixed ratio. So it would be things like water. Water is a hydrogen, 2 hydrogens, and an oxygen. Let's see here. We already did that. Let's do this. I didn't mean to erase oxygen.
Good job.
That's okay. See, because it doesn't erase, I can just rewrite over it.
See, I'm not a good tracer. It would have took me a long time to do that.
I'm not a good tracer either. I'm pretty awful at
I
drawing.
should have never took art.
So, Let me bring you back. Beep, beep, beep. I don't know why I have to make mouth noises. I just have to make noise. I don't know why. Anything I do. Okay, hydrogen. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1. So how many protons does it have?
1,
Good. How many electrons?
1,
Good. So if I were to draw hydrogen, I would draw, there's my protons and neutrons, and it has 1. What's water? H what? O?
H2O.
H2O, so it's 2 hydrogens, so I'd have another hydrogen here.
Oh,
So,
my brain ain't intelligent for that. I just remember the other part. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
here's my question. If they're sharing electrons here, now how many electrons does hydrogen have in its outer shell?
2.
2. How many does it want to have?
1.
2.
Oh.
It wants to have 2 to be stable, so is it stable now?
Yes.
Yes. How many does this hydrogen have?
2.
2. They're sharing. Sorry, my camera's in the way. 2. Is it stable?
Yes.
Yep. How many does oxygen have? 2, 4, 6.
8.
How many does it want to have?
What?
2.
8. It wants to have 8 in that outer shell. So now everything is stable. Everything is great. It's so happy. No explosion. I mean, like water doesn't generally explode. Like if you throw sodium into water, it'll explode, but it's not the water exploding, it's the sodium exploding.
So you just told us how to make a
We used to have sodium in the back room, and when Mr. Barbetta was here, he was the old chemistry teacher, and one time he wasn't here. I think I was
That
maybe,
my mom's class.
That was my father's class too.
yeah, he would have had him. This was like probably 2009. It was like my first year teaching, and all of a sudden we heard this super loud explosion, and one of the kids, because there was a sub in there, got a hold of the sodium and threw it in the toilet.
No, that happened like in '89 or something.
It happened again. I don't know about the time that it happened for your mom, but I know the time it happened when I was here.
It blew the toilet off the.
Oh, this one wasn't that big.
Do we stop?
Crazy stuff used to happen. Somebody egged my window one time. I know who it was.
I'm gonna do that my senior year.
But it didn't, like they never cleaned it, so it was on there for the next 10 years. It finally rained really hard and came off one year, so that was nice. I couldn't, it was like on that back window, and so I couldn't like reach out because it was up too high and my arm wouldn't reach if the window, because the window's open out, so I couldn't like, get it? I don't know. Okay, that's a chemical bond. So we just made a bond. I'm not going to show the screen because we're going to do another type of bond while I'm here. We're going to do carbon again. I just erased carbon. That's okay. Carbon, we said, had...
Do we still have sodium?
Carbon had 2 in the first shell, 4 in the others. So, oh, I should have erased hydrogen. Oh well. So, if I have carbon and then I have hydrogen, if I bond carbon to 4 hydrogens, is everybody happy?
Yeah.
Everybody's full. Good. Ah! I'm sorry for all of you people who are at home and I just yell. I was just washing my hands and then everything fell down. Okay, that is a chemical bond. Because carbon has 4 electrons in its outer shell, it can bond with 4 things. That is the basis of chapter 3. That is the basis of you. If carbon could not form 4 bonds, you would not be able to survive because you wouldn't be able to produce carbohydrates. You wouldn't be able to produce proteins to get those big muscles and to like give you your characteristics. You wouldn't have DNA. You wouldn't have lipids as well. That is the basis of chapter 3. Any questions on that? Okay, so then we're going to look at types of bonds. This is what we call a covalent bond. Ooh, covalent. Co, I said, means what?
Together.
Oh, together. We can mask break, BT-dub. Co means together. Valent means strength. So what can you tell me about a covalent bond?
Strong bar.
It's a strong type of bond. Exactly. And we're going to talk about, this is where atoms are sharing electrons. So if 2 atoms are sharing electrons, then we call it a covalent bond. What does it say? We're going to talk on Monday about different types of covalent bonds. Okay, because there's different types. There's polar bonds and nonpolar. You've heard that before? Okay. If atoms, not all atoms are sharing, sometimes atoms are going to steal electrons. What are we drawing here? We are drawing, actually I'm just gonna come back here because we're running out of time. So, you can see my screen. We are going to be looking at sodium and chlorine. Okay. Sodium, the atomic number of sodium is 11. So it has 2 in its first shell, 8 in its second, 1 in its third. Chlorine, the atomic number is 17. It has 2 in the first, 8 in the second, 7 in the third. So which one is stronger, chlorine or sodium? Chlorine, because it has more electrons in its outer shell. Chlorine is going to steal an electron from sodium. Sometimes people are like, oh, they donate their electrons. No, they just steal it. They just like go right in and steal it. So chlorine steals that electron from sodium. So now chlorine has 17 protons. There we go. Has 17 protons. Now how many electrons does it have? 18 electrons. So what's the charge of this chlorine? Negative. It's negative because it has 1 more electron than it does proton. Sodium has 11 protons. And how many electrons does it now have? 10. Now it has 10. So what is the charge of sodium? Positive. So if we were writing it, we would write Na plus Cl minus. That is sodium chloride. What is sodium chloride? We talked about it in the video yesterday. We had iodine to it.
Sodium chloride, is that salt?
Salt. It's just salt.
Oh.
Right. And salt is made up of ions. That's that word here. So if an atom has gained or lost electrons, we call it ions. Sodium is an ion because it lost electrons. Chlorine is an ion because it gained electrons. And both of those happen because they are forming ionic bonds. I think that might be where I wanted to go. We will talk about different types of ions whenever you get to chemistry. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay, we are going to be done there for today. We're going to pick up with this again on Monday, Tuesday. Your test for this class, for B group, it's the 22nd. A group, it's the 21st. So that'll be next 2 Monday, Tuesdays.
So next week we have a quiz, and then the next.
Yes, next week you have the vocabulary quiz. Yes. And then the
next-
following week you have the test.
Okay.
Yes.
Why does it steal electrons? Is it because it has a stronger outer shell? Is that why?
Yes, it steals electrons because it has a stronger outer shell. Hey, you. Be quiet for a second. It does that because it's more, we call it electronegative. So it's just stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't fluorine like the highest electronegativity?
Fluorine?
I'm pretty sure fluoride.
I leave all my words at home.
Fluorine, yeah. Quite possibly, because anything that's down that group, so any of the ones that are down this group, they all are going to have 7 electrons in their outer shell. So they're not stable. Once you get to the far ones, the noble gases, they do.
It's been a while since I did that stuff, because Chem 2 last year was all just like gas laws and solid geometry.
Yeah.
It was a lot better than Chem 1.
Yeah. All right, A group, I'm signing off so I can talk to these kids. Have a great weekend. I'll see you later.